my channel. I'm Jamila, and this is Jamila Creates, where we create beautiful things. For today, I have a thrift haul and some really exciting things coming up. It might make it a short series, just depending on how much time we have in each video for each sweater, but it's that time of year again, so I'm making sweaters. Alright, so I'm going to be, the first sweater I'm going to be editing is this one, and it's a leopard print, and it's way too small for me, so it is a size extra small, and the modeling will be done on my mannequin today. What I'm planning to do is just crop it like that, and shift around where the buttons go because one of the buttons is missing. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing for this one. And then I have a surprise bonus that's not really a sweater, but is super cozy and wintry that I'll be showing you in a sec. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm taking my piece of chalk and I'm just marking where I want to make that cut. I had already measured it out and planned it. There's not a specific measurement I can tell you, just figure out what seems best to you and then make sure to cut between the buttons. So I'm just measuring my cut from the bottom of, or my marks from the bottom of the sweater, making more marks so that I can connect the dots, and then I'm going to cut it into two pieces, the top sweater and the bottom sweater. And the bottom sweater I'm going to modify into a crop top. So now that I've cut it, I'm just going to be cutting off the placket on the bottom part, the part that ended up just like a long rectangle. And that way I won't have a placket on my crop top. If you want to keep the placket, then you don't have to do this, but I just made that seam be in the back now and had a center back seam instead of a placket because I didn't like the look of one on top of the other, and I didn't have enough buttons for both. Side note, I already did take off all of the buttons on the sweater in every place. I didn't have to do that. It was a little overkill, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to completely replace them or keep them. I ended up having to sew them back on. So I tried this crop on the mannequin, and because it didn't quite fit, I pinned together the center back seam that used to be the front. I pinned it to make it fit tightly, and then I'm just marking where those pins were, and I'm going to sew there to sew it a little bit tighter. So something that I didn't mention earlier was in order to make the crop, I basically had the bottom hem become the top of the seam. So I'm putting this upside down. And so that seam that is now at the bottom is, the first thing I did was sew a picot elastic, and that's a lingerie elastic, and now I'm just getting ready to top stitch that into place, so that will be really comfy and really strong.
Never thought I'd come back, didn't think I'd have it in me, but if you're holding back, I'll keep up all my boundaries. You make it sound so
after I sewed in that elastic, I just flip it over and I top stitch it. That's why it looks like it's backwards, but it's really not. Once you flip it, it'll become more obvious that the elastic is supposed to be hitting that way so that the soft part is hitting your skin, but then you see the little bits of lace sticking out the bottom. Alright, I decided to add straps. This is just very comfy picot elastic, so the part against your skin should be super soft. And I just measured them to make sure that they were equally from the middle. But first, I just tried it on to make sure that I could cut this elastic in half and have enough because this is all I have left. This is for my stash. And to add the straps, you want to put it right side to right side, fold it over, and then top stitch. And make sure to do both of these with the zigzag stitch. And then for the jacket, all I did was add a hem with a double needle. And I was Right, so this is the fabric that I was working with. It's just this plush blanket fabric that I bought at Target last year and ended up adding to my stash um, of fabric. And I'm just going to drape a design with it of a crop top. I tried like copying a different top directly onto it, but the one I used for reference wasn't good. Like it was a racer back and it just wasn't working. So you will see me trying to drape it on the mannequin. So actually, I just wanted to mention that before trying to drape the actual fabric or before using the actual fabric, the actual drape I'm going to do is going to be in a similar stretch knit fabric. That way I can save as much of this blanket as I can. Okay, this is the front. As you can see, I have it like super tight. I'm not going to worry about up here and how it's kind of wonky. Usually you'd make some cuts right here, but my straps are going to be solidly up here. So I'm not going to worry about that too much. I pulled it really tight, which normally you wouldn't do, but because I want it to fit tight, I have to pull this one tight. I'm just doing the front for now, and then I'll do a separate back pattern and pin them together when I'm ready to cut at the shoulder seams because I want the shoulder and the bodice, or no, I want the front and the back to connect via the shoulder without a seam there, just because I feel like that'll be the comfiest, coziest way to do things. So I'm not going to show me writing because I only have two hands, but I'll show you the results and then I'll cut. Okay, this is a little bit hard to see, but this is how I like the strap. And it just connects to this piece, which curves a little around the underarm. A pet peeve of mine is always you could have a sleeve that's cutting you off, or you could have a sleeve that's down here and showing your bra. Usually this one happens to me, so I'm trying to be conscious of that. And it kind of curves upward to the chest and then downward just a little bit at the center front. I did that on purpose. It's just better like that if you're busty. And then it's a little bit longer than I thought it was going to be for the waistline, but I'm accounting for the seam being sewn in there already. But now I'm thinking it might be better not to bother with that. So just thinking about how the blanket operates. So I think I'm not going to bother with that. And I'm going to add a seam allowance to everything I cut here, down here, 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 here. But not here because this is the fold line. So I'm going to leave the fold line I'm going to cut it here, or here-ish, but I'm going to cut it on the actual fabric on fold right here. So I cut it off and then I put it back on because I want to be matching up these side seams and the shoulder seams. More importantly, the shoulder seams, because once I connect those, I'm going to keep them connected and it's going to be one big long pattern piece. Okay, I just traced where those places connected. I did do a cut line here, a line that needs seam allowance here and here, and for the side seam as well, that also needs seam allowance. But for this, I can just cut along here because it matched up perfectly here and here. Actually, this one has seam allowance included, so does this one, because they match up like a puzzle piece. So I'm going to cut the back out and we'll be ready to pin this together and put it on the fabric. Okay, so it needs some work. It's shedding like crazy, so that's not fun. Um, and it's a little bit too small on the sides. I'm sure once I serge it, it'll be fine. I just have to keep in mind that I want it to make an inward point and be like way tighter around the waist and then kind of go upward. And that should be fine. As for the seams, I was thinking of just using a double needle and tucking them in, but around the back, that's a problem. I took too much off and it could show my bra. It's somehow still a racer back. I'm so annoyed because I thought I traced it perfectly, but that's okay. For now, this is where I'm at. I need to buy thread to match this. So I'm gonna leave it for today, but it should be 1 second for y'all. It's the next day, and I'm serging the side seams. I didn't want to buy serger thread for the dark green, especially because I'm never going to use it again. So I'm just using black, and then for the hem, it'll be that particular shade of green. And I'm just easily serging the sides. And for the hanging serger thread, I'm using a needle and sticking the thread through the needle and then just kind of sewing that serger thread back through the serger seam. I'm saying serger a lot. Serger seam that I already did. That will secure it in the best way possible. And then, of course, I'm going to sew over that anyway, so that will extra secure it. All right, so I went ahead and started work on the second one. I did the side seams and then I tried it on and it fit, but it did leave a lot of shedding. So I just went around and serged all the edges just to prepare them more easily to take elastic. What I'm going to do is stretch the elastic slightly and just sew it in a tiny bit like that. And just do a simple either zigzag or double needle stitch here so that I'm just gonna pull this slightly so that gives this a little bit of tension but doesn't like fold it up, just because I think that will make it easier to encase it and not take up as much fabric. But I'm liking the way this is going, and now I'm going to do the same serging on the second one. Actually, this second one, I think I'm just going to go through zigzag stitch everywhere, including here where I folded up, and call it done. This one, and then this one I'm going to do the casing on. And I'm not showing that on camera just because it's always hard to film my sewing machine, but also it's getting a little boring here, so I want to listen to a podcast. I can't do that while sewing and filming, so one thing's got to go, but you can see how easy it'll be to just fold this over the elastic and sew on the elastic and both layers of the fabric. Alright, so I just zigzag top stitched all of the elastic on, and I did it slightly stretched so you can see that there's a little bit of give in that. I probably should have switched to elastic needle because my sewing machine needle didn't like that, but I'm just going to fold all of this over, top stitch it this way. It's inside out right now, by the way. So from the front, you will just see the zigzag stitch or double needle stitch. I haven't decided yet because double needle gives me some trouble on my machine sometimes. And also it feels like a waste of thread because there was only one spool of this dark green emerald color at Michael's today. And if I run out, I run out forever. I did finish the other top though, which is a little loose on my mannequin. I think it's a little bit mid-size. This one's going to be extra large too, mid-size. So I think I have enough where I can make it a double needle moment. I also don't want to fold it over too much because if I do that, then I lose a significant amount of fabric, and I kind of wanted a wide strap moment here. Um, but I also like the double needle moment, so I'm going to think about it. All right, so I decided to just go ahead and film the outro here because the next scene is going to be everything finished all together. So you can see the outfit I'm wearing in the thumbnail is that crop top. I know it's not technically a sweater, but it is a comfy fabric that's kind of sweater like. As for the coat I'm wearing with that, that is an upcycle for a future video because I'm not the biggest fan of that color and I really want to try some dye techniques on it. So I hope you enjoyed that bonus, and of course we have the regular video of the sweater set. I know I said I would put the hot pink one in that, but I'm going to do that for another future video because I'm a little behind on the sweaters with everything with my shop. So make sure to visit that. I'm so excited about that. I'll put in an extra little blurb for that, except I just changed my mind, so no, I won't. This is the blurb for that. Please go visit my shop, and I'll have a link to that in the description below. I finally put that famous plastic purse on that, so I'm really excited about all that. And thank you for hanging out with me while I sew. So, happy sewing!